Hello and welcome back, viewers. This is Sweet BattleScars, and I would like to welcome you to the first video in my series of reviews of first 4 figures collectible statues. This is Fierce Deity Link, the first in the first 4 figures Legend of Zelda series of collectible statues. Standing at about 14.5 inches tall, this was virtually the only Legend of Zelda collectible statue of its kind when it was released in the 4th quarter of 2006. This piece had an edition size limited to 2,500 pieces worldwide. As you can see, the industrious effort that went into the making of this statue is evident in the paint, cast, and even the choice of materials for this particular piece. This statue is made up of a manufacturing material called polystone, a medium made up of polyurethane resin mixed with powder stone additives. The resin bonded stone gives statues like this some added weight and a porcelain-like texture that delivers clean and sharp representations. This material is highly effective at maintaining accurate paint finishes, as is seen in the statue's fine paint details. The makers of the statue successfully capture Fierce Deity Link's iconic pose and his distinctive sword. The cast of the sword is clean, all flashing, if any, has been successfully removed and cleaned. It's also been painted with a beautiful paint with a pearl sheen finish. The colors are true and accurate to the way that the original was portrayed in the game. Paint application is executed well. Clean lines clearly define the details and shapes that were seen in the game. That can also be said about the entire statue as a whole. The clean application of paint is also seen on the figure's chest armor and clothing. The chest plate has been rendered in a metallic silver color, with lines of yellow and pink clearly defining the details that appeared on the character's armor in the game. Some shading and accent colors have been airbrushed on several parts of the figure. Here, shading effects help give the statue some dimension and help define the plates on Link's armor. This attention to detail continues throughout the figure's body. The folds on Link's tunic have been beautifully rendered and are actually one of the statue's most interesting details. Airbrush shadows on the tunic and legs spiral down and guide your eyes down to observe the statue's boots and beautiful base. The painting and shading on Link's boots is also fair. The airbrushed shadows really help define and shape the folds of the leather. Now, while the whole statue is nicely done, special attention needs to be paid to the statue's base. First 4 Figures is a company that really pays attention to their figures' bases, and they definitely take their time to complement their beautiful statues with elegant bases. This particular base helps portray the theme of this statue with intricate shapes and 2 simple colors. The only real complaint and concern that I have with this particular statue is the terrible mechanism used for attaching the figure's hands and sword to the arms. The short pegs and matching slots make for a weak mechanical joint to attach the hands and sword to the statue. The added weight of the sword also makes this joint very inefficient, especially if you are trying to move your statue from one place to another, since this might result in the dropping of the hands and the sword. I did move my statue from its place on one occasion, and I was not cautious enough to remove the hands and the sword from the arms. This terrible accident resulted in the unfortunate detachment of Link's right hand pinky. I did not glue the piece back immediately and eventually misplaced it, and that is the reason why it is still missing. So if you've seen the pinky around, let me know. This was entirely my fault, as I should have been more cautious since I knew of the unstable joint beforehand. Fierce Deity Link's face is yet another one of this statue's strengths. It looks exactly as it did in the game. The features of his face are very well defined and clean, and the stripe details were carefully applied on their precise places. His hair is nicely sculpted and has really no shading effects at all, nor are they necessary, as it has been nicely defined by the sculptor. This piece has become quite rare since it was released 6 years ago. There are still many people looking to find one, but it has become quite difficult to do. And when one does manage to pop up on eBay, it usually sells for ridiculous amounts of money. The Legend of Zelda statues like this were pretty much unseen before first 4 figures showed up. This statue was definitely a perfect first entry into the Legend of Zelda series, and while it is very impressive, it is far from perfect. It truthfully depicts one of the most epic figures in gaming history, and conceptually, it works. It is just the actual execution that needed to be improved. Fortunately, First 4 Figures has been busy producing even more impressive pieces in this series, and it is great to see that they have grown and learned from their past experiences. One last thing to note is that these statues do come with a great authentication card like this one. Each card comes with a number that you input into their website online to register your product. And that is it for this, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.